Do you wear earplugs? Maybe you have a set similar to the ones that I'm wearing right now. I've been a massive earplug convert for a very long time now, ever since I was a teenager, but it wasn't until recently that I recognized how life-changing it can be to have a really good set of earplugs in daily life. So in this video, I'll share some of the things that I've discovered and some tips that you might like to try too. Hi everyone, Paul Mikulev here from Autism from the Inside. I make weekly videos sharing the human side of autism, so make sure you hit subscribe to get the latest content. So every week, my inbox is absolutely flooded with requests from brands asking me to promote various things on this channel. So I almost always say no, except for in a couple of rare cases where it seems like the product or app or whatever it is they're asking me to promote actually sounds like a really good deal and you're probably interested in it. This week, I kind of turned the tables on that because the earplugs featured in this video, I actually already owned a pair and I love them so much that I reached out to the brand myself and said, hey, can I promote you? This is fantastic. So here we are. I get to make a video telling you about my favorite earplugs. More about them later. So I think it's worth mentioning that I've always been an earplug convert. I got used to them because I learned the drums in high school and it just made sense. They're really loud. Use some hearing protection while you practice. It was just a no-brainer. My very first drum teacher, we were in a very small room with 2 drum kits and he used to basically just put cotton wool in his ears because he was, doing that 8 hours a day teaching high school students how to play the drums. So I picked up that habit and I started taking cotton wool with me whenever I went to a concert or whenever I played drums by myself. I'm actually realizing the term cotton wool is a bit of a funny term and I'm wondering if that translates to every country. So if it's a different name in your country, hopefully we can figure out what it is. So as I started going to more concerts and music festivals as a teenager, I upgraded to those little squishy ones, the disposable ones that you may have seen. Very often bouncers at music festivals will wear brightly colored versions of these. And they did a pretty good job, but they were a bit expensive and you could only really use them once before throwing them out. I also got myself a pair of semi-professional multi-use earplugs from a music shop at the time. And yeah, so I was a convert. I recognized that there was huge benefit in having a way to be able to reduce the noise around me. And what I never really understood was, why am I the only one doing this? There are only upsides from my perspective from wearing earplugs. Number one, the music or whatever it is that I'm listening to, I can actually hear it better. And instead of hurting my ears, I'm actually having a pleasant experience. Number two, I can hear the voices of the people around me a lot more. And number three, I can actually stay in the situation a lot longer. And the next day, I don't have ringing in my ears because I've been to a concert the night before. So it just seemed like an absolute no-brainer. And I was never really sure why my friends didn't adopt the same strategy. Maybe they just didn't care quite so much. For a long time though, I only really used earplugs when playing the drums or going to a music festival. Later on, after my autism discovery, I started realizing that there were lots more applications for earplugs that I didn't realize. You may have already heard me talk about my favorite pair of headphones in some previous videos. I've had these for a very, very long time now, and they are definitely very much the worst for wear. I'm just looking at them today. I haven't worn them in a long time. Just pulling them out of the cupboard. So these were my first pair. They are actually wireless headphones. And so I originally bought them to go running and to have music, right? And so they were fantastic for that opportunity. But I loved how they sat around my neck, which meant that I could just leave them there. And what I ended up doing, because it was so convenient to have them, I would have them in my bag all the time. And anytime it was too loud, I would just zoop. Done. Easy. And suddenly a situation like a bar or a cafe or something that would previously be really challenging and really hard to hear and just a little bit annoying, suddenly, zoom, 2 seconds later, and I'm feeling fine and I can last a lot longer in those kind of situations. I also use them for stimming purposes because if I put them in, people think I'm listening to music, and if I'm just moving around, then it's a bit more socially appropriate for stimming and things like that. What I found though is that I was using them less and less as actual headphones to listen to music and more as just really good earplugs that would allow me to stay in a situation and have a conversation with people. So I wasn't just putting them on to block out things, I was putting them on so that I could more actively engage with talking to people at a cafe or in other situations as well. And because they're so kind of discreet and it's so easy to wear, I ended up just wearing them around my neck all the time. I even took them to Parliament House in Canberra, when I did some advocacy work there for the Australian Autism Alliance. They were just a fantastic solution, and I started realizing how many more situations in life could actually benefit from having earplugs. Now, as I mentioned, I'd had these for a very long time, and eventually they were just beyond repair, and I really needed to find a new solution. And it was not a really fun process trying to look for something new, because what I wanted was something exactly the same as I previously had, because I loved my old solution. But fortunately, I did try something new, something I was a little bit skeptical of in the beginning, but I absolutely loved it, and that's why I made a video about it today. So my new favorite earplugs are these ones. They're super tiny, they fit on my keyring, I take them literally everywhere when I leave the house, just in case. If you're interested to look up the exact type, it's a brand called Loop, and the ones that I'm using is it's called Quiet, and I just use that particular one all the time. I think I probably chose this particular one because it was the cheapest, and I just wanted to try something new without too much of an investment. And I'm like, yeah, I think it was 20 bucks or 30 bucks or something very, very reasonable. And I thought, look, I don't really know if I'm going to like them or not, but let's try. I definitely need a new solution anyway. And thankfully, it turns out they're actually fantastic. So they're basically two little things. This is the non-earplug part of it, and they're just little buds. So very low tech in the sense that people always say, oh, wow, are they noise cancelling? Like, no. They don't play music, they're not noise cancelling, they're just a piece of whatever this material is that plugs my ears to stop the noise coming through. Very, very basic, very, very cheap. A fantastic solution for every situation that I've come across so far. Even though I can't wear them around my neck, I can basically have them in my pocket at all times. They go in very easily and quickly, and part of the design is that you can't see them from the front if they're in properly. So from the side, they look like a little loop, and from the front, you can't see them at all. So I previously didn't really care very much if people saw me wearing earplugs or not. I just didn't really care. Some people would ask me about it. They would say, oh, are you listening to music or something? I'm like, no, it's just for the sound. It just blocks out the sound. That's it. However, if I'm making an effort to stand out a little bit less, and sometimes that's advantageous to stand out a little bit less, then having something a little bit more discreet like this is really handy. The biggest benefit though was that because I have them on me all the time, I started using them in a lot more situations. So previously, I would really only use my earplugs in cafes and restaurants. Whereas now I use them for any big public event. Anything when there's a microphone, anything when you're in a crowd, I just put them in at the start as a preventative measure. And probably the best story to illustrate how big of a difference this makes is I was at an event recently, and you know how sometimes microphone systems give you feedback and they screech for a little bit? So previously that would have been painful for my ears, and I would have immediately gone like this and tried to stop the pain, and I would have kept my hands on my ears as long as that was going on. And then after it had finished, I'd be a little bit anxious. Is it going to happen again? Is it not going to happen again? I really don't want to be punched in the face by this really painful sound. However, what I noticed is that with the earplugs, there was the feedback of the system, and it was a little bit annoying, but it wasn't painful. Like, wow, this is incredible. Is this like what it feels like for everyone else? So it meant that I wasn't in pain. It meant that I didn't have anxiety. It meant that I could just be there and everything was fine, and I could participate in this event that is louder than I would normally like to have my situation. I've also used them for sleeping sometimes because of the low profile. It means that I can do that, unlike some other earplugs that I've tried. But I guess the main thing is that now that I've started wearing them preemptively in big, loud situations, I'm recognizing how much of my energy was previously drained just by the sensory environment of a loud dining hall or something like that. So they're so comfortable that sometimes I wear them for hours at a time, and I recognize that I would not normally be able to last anywhere near this long in this situation. Or the alternative, I can recognize, if I'm having to wear my earplugs in a situation for several hours at a time, maybe I should limit the amount of time that I spend in that situation, because it's going to be draining for me, either socially or just because of the sensory environment. So it's really helped me to start regulating my energy as well, and just getting a bit more self-awareness around how much of my energy goes into just blocking out and processing when there's too much sound. So anyway, they are some of the reasons that I've come to love my new earplugs. If you would like to try them too, I highly recommend giving them a go. It's a very inexpensive experiment that may radically change your life, as it did for me. For reference, why the investment was a no-brainer for me is that getting these is cheaper than one meal at a pub. So even if I only use them occasionally, it would still be worth it. But as it turns out, I end up using them literally every day. So if you'd like to try them too, check out the link in the description. I've also set up a special promo code for you, so use that and you'll get a 15% discount. They have a bunch of other products too, so far I've only told you about the one that I tried first. So I'll see if I can get my hands on some of the others and maybe do a review of those as well. Otherwise, I hope you found this video valuable. If you haven't tried earplugs, I feel like I'm saying this over and over again. I feel like I'm 15 again at a concert saying, come on guys, try this. It's really amazing. But that's okay. I can be excited and you may or may not care, and that's fine too. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I will see you again next week. Bye.